The kids want a story? Oh, the kids aren't there?
You can talk. You want a story? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you a story. Okay. All right, here's a good story. It's sort of a long story, but I'll tell you the story. If you have time, nice long story. The story goes like this. Once there was a Chassid. He didn't have any children. He was tremendously rich. He made his money in lumber, wood. He had forests. He owned these forests, massive forests, and he would cut down the trees and put them on the river. It was Russia. Ice on the river, tie them all together and put his stamp on it. And then when the summer came, the logs would go down. And he had also down further, he had these big factories that would cut the logs up. They would make wood. Fantastically rich man, but he had no children. So somebody told him about the Bal Shem Tov. So he traveled to the Bal Shem Tov. It was like a 3-day journey. And he finally got to the Bal Shem Tov, and the Bal Shem Tov said, this story, by the way, is brought in short in Kuntres Amayan, but not the whole story, just this little part. So we got to the Bal Shem Tov, and the Bal Shem Tov said, there are 3 gates in the upper world. There's what's called Bani, Chaya, and Mazona. Children, health, and money. There's some people that have all 3, that they're rich, that they're healthy, and they have good children, wonderful families. So, but you from heaven have been granted only 2. And that's what you have now. You're healthy and you have a lot of money, but no children. If you want to have children, you have to give up on one of the other 2. Either give up on your health or give up on your money. So the Bal Shem Tov said, if you give up on your health, so who knows if you'll even live to see your children. If you give up on your money, so at least you'll live to see the children, but you won't have any, you'll be poor. He said, I'll do it. Rabbi Mendel Futerfest told me this story, by the way. So he said, I'll do it. So the Bal Shem Tov said, well, you should ask your wife, because you're going to lose all of your money. He said, I asked my wife, she said, anything. We have to have children. So he said, okay, that's the way it'll be. So the man travels home. He's halfway back. He meets people that are coming from his hometown. And people, he hears them talking. You see, he stops off in an inn or something to rest. He stops off and he hears these other 2 people talking. And they say, wow, what city you come from? He says, I come from wherever, Atvatsk. Said, Atvatsk, did you hear what happened over in Atvatsk? They said, no. Said, Mr. Grois, in the middle of the winter, suddenly there came a hot day and he lost all of his logs. He had millions and millions of dollars of logs. And before he had a chance to tie them up together and put them in, he lost all the logs. They all floated down. Lost all of his money. This Mr. Grois, that's him. Right? He hears that. He realizes the blessing of the Bal Shem Tov is coming through. He's losing his money. He's going to have children. He stands up and he starts to dance. He's so happy. The 2 men look at him. What is he dancing? He heard this bad news. He must hate this Mr. Grois. What a Russia this guy is. He hears the bad news about somebody who's dancing. They don't realize it's him. Excuse me. So he keeps traveling. The next day, he also stops off at an inn. He hears 2 people talking, and they're saying, "Oh, did you hear about this Grois guy, this Mr. Grois? Terrible luck. I've never seen anything like it." Oh, he's listening. Who is this? What happened? He said, 2 days ago, he lost all of his logs. And yesterday, he had these factories where the logs used to go. All the factories burned down. He stands up and he starts to dance. He's so happy. He finally comes home. His wife is standing in the door of their big mansion. and she's wringing her hands. He says, what are you so sad about? He's all happy. She says, listen, I have some bad news to tell you. Come, sit down. Said, I know. We lost all of the logs, right? She said, yeah, that's right. And then the factory's burned down, right? She said, yes, but I mean, that's terrible. You don't realize we lost everything. We haven't got anything. We're going to lose our house. We owe a fortune of money. And he's dancing. He's happy. So what are you happy about? She thinks, oh, yeah, now I lost my husband. He went crazy. He said, no, I went to the Bal Shem Tov. The Bal Shem Tov said, we're going to lose all of our money, but we're going to have children. She starts dancing too. Sure enough, the next day, all of his creditors come. He has to sell his house. He has to sell all of his properties, all of his furniture. He has to sell everything that he's got. Declares bankruptcy. And he and his wife, they go down near where the shipping docks are. They find the big shipping crate. And they that's still going to be their house. Find a couple pieces of wood. They make a bed. That's where they live, in the shipping crate. And sure enough, in a couple of months, his wife gets pregnant. And she gives birth to a baby boy. What do? They push another shipping crate next to their shipping crate. Now their house is a little bit bigger. It's all true. It's a terrible area where they are. And it's all wet and it's noisy. But at least they have a place and they have a child. And the next year, another boy. And the next year, another boy. And the next year, a girl. And the next year, a boy. After 10 years, they have 10 children. And they're pushing these crates together and their house gets bigger and bigger. But they live in, where do they live in? It's worst conditions. And meanwhile, this Mr. Groys, how is he making a living? He has to go around and beg. He tries everything he tries, doesn't make it. He's poor. Well, it so happens that he hears that Bal Shem Tov is going to be coming to his city in Otvatsk. And he's so happy, he just wants to see the Bal Shem Tov. And he figures he'll just sneak in to the shul just to get a glimpse of this holy man. That'll lift his spirits up a little bit. So he waits to for the shul, wherever it was, to fill up. It was a big shul. And he sort of sneaks in, puts his hat over his eyes, and he sneaks in behind everybody so no one will see him. And he just gets a little peek at the Bal Shem Tov. Oh, his holy face. He feels so happy. All of a sudden, the Bal Shem Tov says, Mr. Groys, Shlomo Groys. Everybody looks around, who is Shlomo Groys? They're looking, he's hiding over here in the corner. Somebody says, your name is Shlomo Groys? He says, yeah, but don't this. All of a sudden, this big, everybody moves aside. Everybody pushes him up with the Bal Shem Tov. He says, oh, Bal Shem Tov. He says, how are things going? The Bal Shem Tov says, how are you? I haven't talked to you in 11 years. Thank God. Have any problems, any requests? No. Everything is fine. Hashem, I have 10 children. It's really... So the Bal Shem Tov said, listen, you got the 10 children. You got the blessing. You don't have to worry. You're not going to lose it, no matter what. Ask for what you want. So he said, listen, I'll tell you the truth, Parnasa, it's really hard. I don't have that much money. There's not, sometimes on Shabbos, we don't even have money for food. We have to eat leftovers. So the Bal Shem Tov said, well, I'll tell you what's the problem. Your problem is that you collect money here in Otvatsk. Everybody already knows you. So they give you little pennies. My advice is that you should go to Minsk. There's a big shul over there in Minsk. Go over there and you'll have luck. And here the Bal Shem Tov gives him a coin. Give this to your wife. This will hold your wife for a month or so. And then you'll come back with the money that you collected in Minsk. Says, okay. So that's what he does. He goes to his wife, tells her the story, gives her the coin. And this is enough to buy food for the next month. And he travels to Minsk. He gets to Minsk. It's already on Friday in the morning. And he sort of washes up as much as he can. And he goes to the shul. And he sits down in the corner with all the poor people. And a rich man in Shabbos comes in. And one of the rich men comes and invites him to his house for Shabbos. Have you got a place? No, I don't. You're new here. Yes, I am. Come eat with me. Goes to his house, gets to the person's house. He sees this is a nice big house. He says, well, no, this is like a house like I used to live in. I used to live in a house like this, beautifully. Tears almost come to his eyes. But he remembers it was worthwhile. I have these beautiful children. He takes all the worry out of his mind. And they go and they sit down. There's beautiful furniture and carpets and pictures. And then he's thinking, wow, I used to have a house like this. This is, the man be blessed. We have everything. I wouldn't give up my children for anything. So the meal goes on, and he sees that this man seems to be sort of, the rich man seems to be like sort of sad. So Grois, he tries to cheer him up a little bit. He sings a happy song. And the poor man is just sitting there. So they finish the meal, beautiful meal. And he says to the rich man, listen, I'm really, really very grateful. Rich man said, you have a place to sleep? You have a place? Yeah, in the shul, there's a place for... So, but listen, excuse me, it was a very beautiful meal that we had. And I know that I'm, it's not my place to make any comments. And I'm just so grateful that you invited me. But I want you to know that I was once rich like you. I don't look like it. I'm not. I was once had a lot of money also like you. So I just want to ask you a question. Don't think that I'm just a bum off the streets. Why are you so sad? I see that you're not happy. Here it's Shabbos. You have all this money. You have everything. The man looks at him. He says, okay, that's a good question. I'll tell you. He said, did you see that young lady that was helping my wife bring? Well, that's my daughter. And she's already 25 years old, and we can't find her a shidduch. She's healthy, she's intelligent, she's beautiful, she's religious, she's serious, wonderful personality. But like 8 years ago, she was engaged to be married to somebody, and the army took him away. Then after that, she got engaged to somebody else, and the person went crazy. Then after that, she got engaged to marry somebody else, and the man died suddenly. So nobody wants to touch her. They say that she's cursed. So we don't know what to do. We have a daughter, beautiful, all this talent, and no one wants to. So this man says, listen, there's a Bal Shem Tov in the world. We're not alone. We're not orphans. Go to see the Bal Shem Tov. I went to see the Bal Shem Tov, and now I have 10 children. Very big miracle. Go. So he goes, he says, oh, okay, I'll go. Why not? I got nothing to lose. On Sunday after Shabbos, the day, they both get in a carriage and they travel together to the Bal Shem Tov. It's a journey of a day. And they go to the day, whatever, anyway, go to the Bal Shem Tov. Although ever long the journey is, they go to the Bal Shem Tov, and the Bal Shem Tov tells the Mr. Grois to stand outside. He listens to the rich man, and he says, okay, listen, you're going to go back home. When you go back home, there's already going to be a shidduch for your daughter. It's already going to, and the wedding will be in another month or so. So, but there's a condition. At the wedding, I want you to give shadchan geld. I want to give matchmaking money. You have to give a nice reward to Mr. Grois, to that poor man. Will you do it? Said, Bal Shem Tov, listen, if my daughter finds someone to marry, I'll give whatever you want. Is Bal Shem Tov, okay. They go back home. Sure enough, they go back home. In the door of this rich man is standing his wife, exactly the opposite of what Mr. Grois's wife was 11 years ago. She's standing with a smile, earring. She's standing to her husband. What are you so happy? He says, you won't believe it. You won't believe it. Yesterday, there came in the train, you won't believe who came in the train, the first shidduch for our daughter, the one that they took into the army. They released him suddenly for the army. They gave him all sorts of honors and medals, honorable discharge. And the first thing he did when he got off the train is he came to our house and says, is she married? Did she get married to someone? So I said she hasn't got married, but I want to, first of all, check this out. I sent him to the Rav to see if he's normal. The Rav will check him out. The Rav says that he's normal all the time that he was in the army. He held on to Torah and mitzvahs. Come, you won't believe it. So the father talks to this young man, and sure enough, they set the wedding. The wedding is in another month, and the rich man is happy. He makes a meal outside. He invites everybody. The rich people, the poor people, the Jews, the non-Jews. There's music playing. The women are sitting separate. The men, it's amazing. Thousands of people are there. Just before they go to the chuppah, and the rich man is the rich guy is going around, giving everybody l'chaim and shaking hands. Suddenly he says, the Bal Shem Tov comes up to him. He says, "Oh, Bal Shem Tov, this is all because of you. This is all your blessing. If it wasn't you changed my life, you saved me. I'm so grateful to you. How can I repay you?" Bal Shem Tov, listen, 1 second. We had a condition. Did you give the poor man, Mr. Groys, did you give him money for the matchmaking? Said, "Oh, did I give him money? I sure did." "How much did you give him?" Said, "Ready? I gave him 1,000 rubles. 1,000 rubles is like today, $100,000. Bal Shem Tov said, "No, it's not enough." I said, "Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I didn't know." She said, "You know what? I'll give him 2,000. Bal Shem Tov said, "No, it's not enough." So he loosens his collar. He says, "Okay, you know what? I'll give him 10,000 rubles. Like $1 million. The Bal Shem Tov said, I don't think you get the point of what I'm trying to say. He says, "Tell me, I want to know something. About how much are you worth? All the money you have, everything you've got." I said, "I don't know. I'll have to call my accountant." He says, "Think for 1 second. I just want an estimation." All of a sudden, this rich man's head becomes really clear. He says, "I'm worth maybe 10 million rubles." He says, 10 million rubles, give him half. He said, "What? Half? 5 million rubles? How can I?" The Bal Shem Tov said, "Well, calm down 1 second. I want you to know, du bist a geborener or geworner?" He said, "Were you born rich or did you become rich?" He said, "Well, I wasn't rich. I was born very poor. And I used to just collect money in the streets. I just wasn't good at anything. And then one day, this is, I don't know, about 11 years ago, I didn't collect anything. Nobody gave me anything. And I didn't know what to do here. I got my daughter and my wife. And so I went down to the river just to sort of calm down or something, because my whole life I just felt was just a big waste. I'm just a bum collecting money and nobody's even giving me money. What do I see? A huge log. So I thought to myself, wow, that thing must be worth a lot of money, a big log like that. And let's see if there's no markings on it. So I took a couple of goyim and I had them drag this log to me to the lumber yard. and they gave me 10 rubles for it. 10 rubles, a lot of money. The next day I went down to the river and there was 3 logs. I got the goyim to grab those also. I got 3 logs, 30 rubles. The next day I went down there with the goyim. There was 10 logs, 15 logs, and nobody interfered with me. Hundreds of logs I brought. Then after that I heard that someone's lumber yard burned down with all the machinery. I went over there and I looked. I saw the machinery was still good. I bought it for almost nothing. So the Bal Shem Tov said to him, "Listen, I want you to know something. All of the money you have, all of your riches used to belong to him. All of the logs you had, those were the logs that he put on the river that burned. All the machinery that you've got, that was from his factory that burned down. Now what I want you to do is I want you to give half of what you've got to him. And now you'll be rich, he'll be rich. Your daughter got married, and he has 10 children, and everything worked out perfectly." And that's what the tzaddikim do. They arrange the whole world so that everybody gets a perfect, blessed life. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shankar. Beautiful.
Nice story.
Good. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
By the way,